That's okay. Today we are going to read from another section of In Love at Ease. Specifically the 4th chapter, which is all about embracing all. This is Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And he exemplified many great virtues that I think are universal, that we can all look up to in many ways. So let us see where we left off last time. Swamishri's all-embracing tasks culminated with an integration of the highest order, the Sadhu-Diksha, the monk initiation. For a long time, Hindu religious communities did not give full Sadhu-Diksha to individuals from certain social backgrounds. Though they were accepted into the community and initiated as parshads or bhagats, ascetics in white clothes, they did not wear the saffron-colored clothes. Although they were treated with the same respect and carried out the same spiritual responsibilities. But it was not a complete Sadhu-Diksha. Pramukh Swami Maharaj had been trying to shatter this glass ceiling for many years. He, however, received conflicting signals of support from some within his community and the broader Hindu community. He was convinced that full integration on the spiritual path would set an example for everyday life in the community. Vivek Swami was one of those parshads who wore white for nearly 20 years. He was initiated by Yogi Maharaj in the 1960s, who was Pramukh Swami Maharaj's guru. His guru named him Narayan Bhagat. He was one of the community's brightest students and most effective orators. Yet, he always wore white. Vivek Swami recalls how everyone would ask him why he was not wearing saffron. The senior sadhu was unfazed. He wanted to serve, and it did not matter whether he was wearing white or saffron. See, in the Hindu monastic life, students always wear white, but the swamis, the senior monks, they always wear orange to show the fact that they're up there. And as such, there's a great tradition around saffron-colored clothes. Vivek Swami recalls how everyone would ask him why he was not wearing saffron. The senior sadhu was unfazed. He wanted to serve, and it did not matter whether he was wearing white or saffron. He was not alone. Close to 15 other parshads had been dressed in white for several years as well. Swamishri built support for his idea within the community and the broader Hindu world. He even told Narayan Bhagat to prepare for the change. Swamishri reminded him that he would be the first Krantikari, revolutionary, initiation into the sadhu fold. A few nights before the initiation ceremony, Swamishri called Professor Raymond Brady Williams into his room for a private conversation. The academic had been studying the community for over a decade and was one of the Guru's confidants. Swamishri shared his intention to give the Sadhu-Diksha to people from all social backgrounds. Professor Williams recalls that it was not a question. Swamishri was confident. He was going to do it, and he wanted the professor to know. He remembers looking into the eyes of Atma Svarupdas Swami, who was the interpreter. They were both equally stunned. He made clear that the social change was necessary and that it had to begin somewhere. Professor Williams was surprised that there was no announcement or publicity of the news. It definitely had the potential for great press, but Swamishri's intent was not to market the idea or the event. Swamishri was motivated to break barriers and build bridges. Professor Williams was ready for the big day. Moments after the Diksha, the initiation, he climbed down from his seating area and approached a few bhaktas, devotees. There were some mixed reactions in the crowd, but he remembers one common sentiment shared by all those in attendance. If Pramukh Swami has done it, it must be right. A few weeks after the Diksha ceremony, one of the newly initiated sadhus was traveling with Swamishri in Oudh. It was all still very new to Sadhu Jivandas Swami. He was not used to wearing saffron. He was certainly not used to sitting and eating with the sadhus and his guru. Parshads ate separately from the sadhus. One afternoon, he was late to lunch and realized that there was only one place to sit in the room. It was by Swamishri. Sadhu Jivandas Swami wedged himself in a corner between Swamishri and the wall. He was more conscious of where and how he was sitting than of what he was eating. He noticed that Swamishri sensed his anxiety, and that only made him all the more flustered. He wolfed down his food as fast as he could while shrinking into the corner. A few minutes later, he sprung up to wash his wooden eating bowl. He felt a hand on his knee as he was getting up. Swamishri urged him to sit down. "Why are you shying away? Sit with me. Eat with me. We are all one. Atman." Atman is the Sanskrit word for the true self within everyone. Swamishri pulled him closer to the rest of the sadhus. It was then that Sadhu Jivandas Swami realized that Swamishri had forever changed the social landscape of Hindu monastic orders. Swamishri used his spiritual credibility to bring about one of the most important social class religious revolutions of the 20th century. It paved the way for other Swaminarayan and Hindu communities to open their doors to sadhus from all social backgrounds as well. Today, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha has sadhus from all social backgrounds, including Adivasis and Dalits, who are some of the most underrepresented and underprivileged communities in India. As one sadhu from the Vadhal Swaminarayan sect said to me, it did not matter if his contemporaries in our communities liked or disliked the move. He had opened the floodgates. There were no social class restrictions to wear saffron in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya. I think of that day as one of the most important in the tradition. Pramukh Swami completed the social order revolution that was started by Bhagwan Swaminarayan more than 200 years ago. Swamishri carried a fairness and equality that brought people together. His life was a model of social justice driven by faith in the divine. His faith led him to believe in people, to serve the divine within. This perspective is what allowed him to give, empathize, and respect no matter who was standing in front of him. Swamishri noticed those ignored by others. He gave a voice to those silenced by others. He was a spiritual social justice crusader who walked with those whom he advocated for. Instead of dividing, Swamishri brought people, institutions, and communities together. He built bridges that made the world smaller and people's hearts larger. He did not just talk about social justice, he lived it. And we will pause our reading of In Love, at Ease there for now. So, thank you for listening.